Did she?
And maybe.
I don't think she's been up. Go put her up.
Warning. The decision to begin keeping medically significant Venomous should be made with deliberation, respect for the animals, and consideration for the community. A handler should acquire high-quality tools to enable safer handling, as well as a circumferential compression device just in case of a bite. We purchase our hooks, tongs, and venom lock from tongs.com. A keeper should be mindful. Requirements of care are more extensive in comparison to keeping non-venomous, and I do not condone handling by those who are not physically able-bodied, adequately experienced, clear of mind, or otherwise impaired. Furthermore, I recommend mentoring under a licensed venomous keeper for a minimum of 2,000 hours before attempting the act on your own, which many states require. Additionally, do not attempt to interact with any dangerous animals without an assistant, as this could potentially result in your death and enact a ripple of social and legal ramifications in your state and federal legislature. Deadly Tarantula Girl coming to you with John Feely from Feely's Clutch. You look a little more awake now.
I am. I'm starting to wake up a little bit.
He came in on Saturday, we hung out, played with some animals, went out, did some herping.
It was fun.
Didn't get
first time field herping for real, I guess. Going through cuts. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a beautiful night out. It stormed, we had this crazy rainstorm. Yeah, it's been an awesome trip. You live in Texas, but you're not really in our geographic area. What'd you think about herping our range that we're in?
I enjoyed it. It's there's a lot more hiding spots. Like everything I see back home is mostly open fields. Obviously you have like the Franklin Mountains and things like that in El Paso, but I haven't gotten in there as much as I'd like to, and that's really where I want to get into. But it was nice to have a guide and to learn kind of the places that you really want to look for these animals, because I've never had anyone show me, hey, this is the type of place you want to look for like a rattlesnake, or this is the type of place you want to look for Alterna. But essentially I didn't really know kind of like the rock structures or the areas that you wanted to look at for different types of reptiles.
Right.
So it was nice to learn a couple of different structures to look for.
Yeah, so it's important if you're hoping to catch a certain type of animal to kind of know their terrain, because there are animals that we would go to rock cuts to look for. There's animals that we're gonna go look near water for. And so we had a lot of fun. It was a beautiful night, and I'm just like a nerd for nature that even on a night when stuff isn't moving a whole lot, I just enjoy hiking the desert, watching the sunset, seeing all the crazy bugs and the birds, and we even saw like some big rats and other just weird stuff that you never know what you're gonna find. It's fascinating.
Lots of skeleton pieces.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
We found one little weird skull we couldn't figure out. It wasn't human for sure.
Possibly. Maybe a distant relative.
Maybe. Yeah. So that's always, I don't know, I like looking at like the remains of just kind of, sometimes we found like a big hawk wing, and it's just neat.
Pretty cool stuff.
One animal we're going to take a look at today is the northern blacktail rattlesnake, also known as Crotalus molossus molossus. There are 3 or 4 species of molossus. I know that I think there were 4 and 1 was renamed, but this is molossus molossus. This is the native species that we do have here. They are very distinct by the beautiful pattern on their back and that black mask across their face. And obviously you might assume why they're called a blacktail, because the end of their tail is very black. What do you notice about this animal versus an atrox, John?
There's a lot more coloration to it. Obviously a higher gray pigment because of where it lives. The head is a little differently shaped, but it's still your
Still
typical
has the
pit viper.
face.
And it seems, not that any pit viper's docile,
Mhm.
but this seems to be a little bit more relaxed species versus the Aatrox that we've been watching so far.
I would
this
say
weekend.
that Aatrox definitely is more highly aggressive than many species of rattlesnake. So obviously Crotalus aatrox, the western diamondback, lives in the dirt. They're typically brown, tan, beige. This is a silver snake that often lives in the gray rock cuts or around that slaty rock, and they really do hide very well. We were walking a cut, I saw a beautiful rock shelf, and I was thinking to myself, is that just a shadow or is that a snake? And that could have been a place where there was an alterna, a gray band king snake, or it could have been a number of things. It could have been a different species of rattlesnake. It was pretty dark out. And so as I got closer, I saw that it was a blacktail, and it was really amazing that they're able to camouflage so well. Sometimes they can be right in front of your face if you're not careful, out on those cuts or right at your feet. So obviously when you're out hunting, it's also important to be watching your step, watching where you're putting your hands, and always using precaution. So for this little species, I like to use these small grabbers and the small hooks, and I actually even have sets of tools that I use in a quarantine room, which are different from the tools that I use in my regular herp room, because you never know what kinds of diseases or parasites that you may be passing from stuff that's newer to your collection into your established colony of reptiles. Alright, here we have another native snake. This is a Transpecos Copperhead, Pictogaster. And this is my favorite Copperhead. They are very beautiful. This little dude was just sitting by the side of the road, which was a very happy surprise. This was my first Pictogaster I ever found in the wild. You might notice that the tail looks different from the rest of the body. They actually wiggle it around to use as a lure. So their body is camouflaged as they lay in the brush, and then they use this beautiful tail as a lure to obviously hunt for their food. Very cool.
It's a gorgeous animal. It's definitely a lot more flighty.
Yeah. This is Crotalus lepidus, the mottled rock rattlesnake. Cousin to the rattlesnake in your area, the banded rock rattlesnake, Crotalus lepidus clobberi. Both very beautiful. This was an animal that I was very excited to see in the wild because I have been hunting West Texas for a long time, just traveling here during the summertime, and never had the pleasure of collecting a lep from the wild. So when I saw this beautiful baby, I was super duper excited. Have you ever?
It's a gorgeous snake. Like, it's definitely, you could tell from the different ecosystems how it's changing so much. Because in my area with the bandeds, like those dark gray bands that you're getting down are a real rich black with a white outline on them. So it's a very gorgeous animal.
Mother Nature is an artist. So this is a beautiful Crotalus aatrox, also known as the western diamondback rattlesnake. And this is a snake that some may consider the most dangerous snake in Texas, not because of the potency of the venom, because the coral snake and the Mojave rattlesnake are more potent. However, this snake lives most often where people live in comparison to the other two dangerous snakes. And so this is the snake in which accidental bites occur most often. And you have these little beauties in your area, John.
All over, man. Like, and this is what I grew up around. Like, we would go out and we'd play in the yards, and this is what you had to worry about when I was growing up. Obviously, I didn't grow up in a city. I kind of grew up in the outskirts towards the desert, so this was the prominent danger in my area. Not that they're dangerous as long as you know how to interact and stay away from them and all that good stuff, but
Yeah, rattlesnake handling 101. If you don't know what you're doing, just stay away.
just stay away.
Don't-
They're gonna run before they try
Yes.
to attack, just like any other animal. It's a gorgeous animal. It's great to start working with them. Start, like I said earlier, kind of bringing it full circle again. This is the first snake that I really got to see in real life, and unfortunately my family was they had that mindset that we try to fight against so hard, is the only good snake is a dead snake, and especially with rattlesnakes, like, they didn't think twice, they just brought out a gun. Whereas I was more apt to leave them alone because I enjoyed them.
Which statistically, a lot of people get bitten by rattlesnakes while they're trying to kill them, so just stay away from them.
Exactly. But just a gorgeous specimen.
Well, that was a quick review of a few venomous snakes of West Texas. What do you think?
They're freaking awesome. I'm loving it.
What was
Thank you
your
so
favorite?
much for letting me start getting hands-on and learning and kind of taking me under your wing.
So, what was the most important learning experience?
Stay calm, no matter what.
I like that.
Being calm is key in this whole thing, because once you freak out, the animal freaks out, and then it creates chaos. And the best thing to do in this state is to be as calm as possible, and it should be boring for you. It shouldn't, like, as bad as that sounds, a venomous animal encounter should be a boring encounter. You never want it to be an exciting encounter. So
And
calmness
also-
is key.
That I'm the master, obviously.
Well, yeah, you just like kind of lull them into a daze. So, I really can't thank you enough for giving your time and to let me come into your home and mess with all your amazing animals. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is the start of a journey that I'm hopefully going to be able to record all along the way. And you're definitely going to see a lot more collaboration between us as we're working with these venomous, so I can get my hours in. Because I believe it's very, very important to become very familiar with the animals that you want to work with. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you have a great day. Y'all stay blessed, and we're going to see you soon.
On a side note, we had this huge plan to film a whole venomous series yesterday, and due to a number of factors, people were tired and not 100% in the state of mind. So we decided to handle without filming, to remove one stressor out of the situation, because safety should always come before content creation. We had bigger plans for what we were going to capture on film, but instead we just did some like one-on-one handling, just kind of went with the moment as far as doing some observation first. And you seem much more calm today, so I think that was a good choice.
Definitely a lot more rested, not as jittery.
Yes.
Don't drink energy drinks before you handle venomous. That is like the stupidest thing I could have done. But
Hey,
everyone came out okay,
Yes.
so that's the important thing. Focus on the animal.
Right.
It should always be on the animal when
Yeah.
you're handling venomous.
All right. Well, thanks so much for visiting. I hope to see you guys soon. Drop your comments and questions down in the comment feed, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.